I read this book years ago. It was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Suzanne Jeffers.
Mm,
And I love that book so much. I bought some extra copies and sent one to one of my girlfriends because we have to do things and it's okay to do it afraid,
right.
just as long as you're doing it. And that's the important thing.
As long as you're
And you
doing it.
look back and you'll see the progress that you've made over that period of time, little baby steps, little
Little.
baby steps.
Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus, where we talk about real life, real healing, and real growth, especially for those of us 50 and over who are stepping into our next chapter with intention. So, what happens when you stop waiting for permission and finally start living on your terms? In today's episode, I am talking with Bobby Harbert, who did something most people only dream of. She left the familiar behind and moved abroad at 60. Not because it was easy, not because it made sense to anyone else, but because it was time to stop living by someone else's rules. This is a story about courage, clarity, and carving a new path, regardless of age or expectation. But before we get started, I have one huge favor to ask. If you find any value or enjoy the content, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I truly appreciate your support. Also, if you are in a season of change, reflection, or rediscovery, you'll find some amazing resources in my Stan store, and the link will be in the description below. Okay, let's get this conversation started. Hey, Bobby.
Hello.
How you doing, hon?
I am wonderful. I am doing great. Thank you. And I want to say first, thank you for inviting me to come to your show. I'm really excited about that. And hopefully your audience will gain some wonderful things from this interview that we're going to do here today.
Well, I saw you on Halisi and Rick, and I love the conversation you guys had. So, and I didn't know you were also from Colorado. So, this is also, a big move for you because I'm sure there's a lot of cultural differences between Colorado and Lisbon. So, we're going to talk about all of that. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, what you did in Colorado, if you don't mind, a little bit of, just tell us about you, love.
Okay. Well, I am a Colorado native. I was born in Colorado. And my father was in the military, was in the army, so we traveled quite a bit within the United States and even abroad as well. I lived in Germany a couple of different times as a child. So when my parents, meaning my dad, tried to or decided to retire from the military, mom and dad thought about it. Where do they want to go back to the US and live? And so
Mhm.
they both agreed to move back to Colorado. And so I returned there when I was about 9 years old and lived there really my entire life.
Okay.
And so, and now here I am. I'm in another country. So a little bit more about me. I was in education and working in student financial aid for many, many years. And so I was just really trying to figure out like what my new adventure would be or new steps or a new chapter in my life as I was nearing 60 years of age. I wanted
Mm.
to say, okay, there's something more for me to do. So I began to search that process out and really was seeking God in this whole process. Like I need to hear your voice and know where to
Yeah.
go and what to do, and started looking about when can I retire and what that whole thing was going to look like.
Yeah.
So um, basically, after a few years of soul searching and things in my life going on, all good things, but just struggling, trying to figure out like what's my next steps were going to be. I got a hold of listening to Our Black Utopia with Halisi and Rick, and then I also listened to Rashida Dowd and Stephanie Perry with their programs as well,
Mhm.
and begin to listen and realize that I could retire and I could live abroad. I didn't have to stay where I was at.
Right.
And so after attending their summits. They had both had summits in the fall.
Hmm.
I realized it was very doable because they plotted out for all the audience different things that you could do in order to get, to move abroad. And so I decided in December that this was it, December 2024,
Uh-huh.
that I was moving abroad, and I made the steps to reach out to a relocation specialist to help me with that process. So here I am. Basically, 6 months later, I moved to Lisbon, Portugal.
So, what caused you to make such a life-altering move at this stage? Because, we hear a lot about younger people doing it, but when we hit, they always say when you hit a certain age, you get stuck in your ways. But for you, what was that call? Other than, of course, yeah, retirement and so forth, but was there something deeper, or you just said, hey, I see other people doing it, so I want to do it too?
It was a combination of different things. As I mentioned earlier, I really was seeking out the Lord because I felt truly in my spirit that there was something much more for
Hmm.
me to do in my life than I had done in the past.
Hmm.
Honestly, I did not know what that was going to be like, didn't know what it was going to look like, but I had a sense, and I tell people, you know in your spirit when it's
Okay.
time to do whatever that might be. And it begins to build over time, but you get a sense for that.
Right.
And so I wasn't fearful. I had a little bit of caution in this process, but I wasn't like afraid to do it. And I spoke with my children, my adult children about it as well. And they encouraged me because they too have lived abroad as well. And so, but it was just, I knew it was time to change something, either change careers or change jobs or change departments where I worked in or something. And then the kicker really was when the election happened in November of 2024. That was the calling right there. It was like I know I needed to get out of the country. I needed to leave the United States of America. That was the thing that really helped to push me. In addition, over the time I'd been listening to the various podcasts about how women actually can move abroad single and retire and make those things happen. So that was really kind of a extra push and extra thrust that put a little more fire in me to make it go faster. I
Okay.
probably would have done it anyway,
Hmm.
but with those things happening, then I'm like, okay, it's time. It's time to go ahead and make that move.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How do you think your age and your life experiences influence how you plan for and adjust to this big move?
Um, well, life experiences in my age, at some point um, I've lived my life, I've done the things that I wanted to do, and I was comfortable with who I was and my past successes. But again, I knew that there was something more for me to do than what I've done. I've been involved with nonprofit organizations and working on their boards of
Hmm.
directors and a couple of different nonprofits. And when I say working, that was basically it was volunteer work. It wasn't paid work.
Hmm.
But I was quite involved in those organizations. So I've done a lot of different things in my life. I've owned an insurance agency with my late husband.
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, I have been in higher education working on a college campus. And so I knew there was more to Bobby than what I had done.
Hmm.
And so again, I was searching out what is that new going to be? And the new turned out to be Portugal. I
Okay.
didn't anticipate, I didn't plan to come to Portugal 5 years ago or 3 years ago. It was just like I knew something different had to happen.
Something different. Yeah. And
Mhm.
yeah, and that's really, really interesting when you said that you felt that something had to change and you weren't sure what it was, but you knew something had to change. And you allowed your spirituality to guide you. You allowed God to
Yes.
guide you. And I think a lot of us, a lot of women in particular, at a certain age, we say something has to change, something has to give. because this can't be all there is. Not to say
Yeah.
that you might not have been fulfilled in your job or your relationships or with your children, but you know there's something more out there for you, especially in, the second half of your life, which to
Mhm.
me should be, the best half. I mean, because you've done not, and not to say for anyone, not to say that your children, your family aren't a great part of your life, but there's always something different and maybe even for some people more that you feel as you get older. At least my experiences and the women that I've talked to, that there's something a little bit more out there that you want to experience. And I think that's a great thing that, for some of us, it might be experiencing a new culture, a new way of living, a new lifestyle. And I think it's important for us to be able to do that without, trepidation or without feeling guilt or any of those things. So this is amazing that you felt what you felt and you acted upon it. You didn't just sit there in fear. You moved forward, and that's important too. That you move even in fear. You move through it, and you do what's calling you. You do what your spirit is calling you to do. So
Exactly. I heard the calling in my spirit and I took the action. And that's what I try to relate to even the students that I
mm,
would work with at the college is that, not to be fearful of taking some steps
yeah,
and not be fearful of trying new things. And I always would tell people, don't you tell yourself no. You move forward with the action and see how far you can get with it.
yeah,
And a lot of times people do tell themselves no, even before they get off the block.
right,
They're saying,
exactly,
no, I can't. No, it's not feasible.
right,
No, I'm going to fail.
right,
No, I'm afraid. No, I don't want to. No, I
right,
don't have the support. All those no's. But I tell people, don't tell yourself no.
right.
Do it anyway
Mm,
and then move forward. And I read this book years ago. It was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anywhere.
mm,
Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Suzanne Jeffers.
mm.
And I love that book so much. I bought some extra copies and sent one to one of my girlfriends because we have to do things and it's okay to do it afraid,
Right.
just as long as you're doing it. And that's the important thing.
As long as you're
And you
doing it.
look back and you'll see the progress that you've made over that period of time, little baby steps, little
Yeah.
baby steps.
And even if you fail, and I use air quotes because to me it's not a failure. The only time you have a failure is if you don't try,
Mhm.
my opinion. But if you walk out there in fear and it doesn't go exactly as you planned, that's not a failure. To me, that's like, at least I did it. At least I tried. I didn't sit back and worry about the what ifs, and that's easy to get in our head about the what ifs. What if that doesn't work? What if I do fail? What if, how will people, perceive me? And that's another thing we have to, I think, get past is worrying about what other people are going to think and how they're going to perceive if you fail or don't. Sorry about this, you guys. Uh, sorry about that, y'all. I forgot to turn off my phone. So, but anyway, so let me ask you this. What fears did you carry with you on the plane, and what unexpected strength did you gain when you landed?
Ooh, wow. Great question. I honestly, I didn't have fear on the plane.
Okay.
I was excited about going and I knew that was the thing to do for me in my life. Now, I did have some fear months prior
Hmm.
as I was doing all of the paperwork. It was a lot of paperwork to do
Hmm.
to move abroad and to get your visa. But I was like, well, I'm hoping that I get approved. I'm hoping that I'm doing everything right. And that's one of the reasons why I got professional help
Yeah.
to make sure that I got the forms in right and that I
Right.
had all the various things that were required.
Hmm.
So, but on the plane, I really wasn't, I was excited about moving. And I remember thinking in my head, I thought if the ground was sterile when I got off the plane, I would kiss the ground. But I know the ground was not sterile, so I wasn't going to kiss it, but it was just the thought of like being grateful
Yeah.
that I was there, and it was really so wonderful. My two daughters helped me get to the airport with all of my luggage, and
How many pieces of luggage did you have, Miss Bobby?
well, let's see here. You know, when you move abroad, you do try to not take so much,
Yeah.
but you had to take some things. I had 10 items with me when I moved.
Wait a minute, you said 10 items. You mean 10 luggage items or 10
Well,
items in
yes.
your one luggage? Which one,
Okay.
mommy?
Well, let's see. I had 10 luggage items.
Okay.
This is why I need that extra help to
Right,
get me to
right.
the airport and get me inside. Um, but anyway, yes, I didn't have any fear about when I got off the on the plane or got off the plane. I was just excited,
Yeah,
so excited to be moving abroad.
yeah.
And then there was a second part of your question, which I don't recall. What was the second part?
And what unexpected strengths did you gain when you landed?
Unexpected strengths. Um, I would say unexpected, not so much unexpected, but in terms of what you're asking, I would say the building of the community here has been amazing.
Okay.
And so that has been a true strength with all the different groups that I've connected with,
Hmm.
because everyone here is so helpful.
Okay.
They want you to succeed. They're helping you figure out what other paperwork you might need to do, or how to get your travel card, or how to negotiate yourself on the bus or
Okay.
on the metro.
Yeah.
Just a lot of help. That was you sort of expect that, but it was sort of unexpected as well. That's just the outpouring of love and community that's here with a lot of other women who are in my same situation, 60 plus. They've moved abroad by themselves
Mm.
and they're finding their way. Some have been here several years, and some, like myself, have only been here from, 2 to 6 months. Some of the
Okay.
ladies that I've met.
Now, are you an introvert or extrovert or in
You
between?
know, what word would we say for the middle? In the middle. Is there
There's
such
a
a
word, and
word?
there is a word, I've heard of it, but I can't remember exactly what it is. You're an
I don't think
extrovert when,
I never knew the word in the middle, but
yeah.
I would lean more towards being an introvert than an extrovert. However, my life and my career caused me to be an extrovert.
Okay. Yeah.
The things that I've done working with community and nonprofit organizations and working in higher education
Mm.
caused me to become more of an extrovert than what I used to be in my younger age. Because I've
Okay.
definitely have transitioned over
Mm.
from my, 20s to now.
Hmm.
Because in my 20s, I would, go somewhere, sit in a corner and kind of be quiet and just listen. But now I'm more engaged in the conversation.
Okay. Okay. And I also think that comes with age because I was the same way. I would go and, didn't really want to interact and was, I guess I guess you could say shy, but as I've gotten older, and I've said this many times on my podcast, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I would have never done this. I would have never been in front of a camera and putting myself out there for, for people to criticize, not criticize, whatever, but I would have never done this. So I hear you I'm the same way or was the same way. And as I've gotten older, you kind of shed some of that fear, in certain ways. But yeah, same here. I think I'm right down the middle. I can be an extrovert if I have to, not an overly extrovert, but you know,
Mhm.
to get the job done. So, how has life abroad redefined your sense of home
Um,
and belonging, since we were talking about. the other expats?
Yes, that's a good question because I've only been here for a very short period of time.
Mm,
And so um, I'm in that transition period, honestly. The home is I'm making this my home. I'm making my space for me right now,
mm.
and I'm making this my home.
Yeah.
And I've already had visitors
Oh,
come. I've only
nice.
been there a
Okay.
couple of months. I've already had my first visitor
Wow.
and have more coming. So
They
I
didn't they
think
didn't waste any time. Like she's in Portugal. I'm there.
I think me being here in Portugal is going to be like an extension of home because other folks are going to be coming to visit. They've already told me, I'm coming. Just let me know when I can come. What's a
Hmm.
good time for you to. And so I have several people that are ready to show up, which that's like an extension of home.
Nice. Okay. So, in what ways has this move awakened parts of you that have been quiet or forgotten?
Oh, I would say my sense of adventure. My sense of adventure. I am more adventurous now than I
Hmm.
was just a few years ago.
Hmm.
I am finding my way within the city. I'm going places by myself. I'm coming home late, 10:30 in the evening by
Look at
myself and
you.
not afraid to walk the city.
Yeah.
Um, Portugal is a very safe place. In
Hmm.
any place you live, you do have to be mindful of your surroundings. I'm
Oh,
not to
yeah.
say you
Yeah.
can't be you don't not to be mindful of that, but is a safe place to be. And so just my sense of adventure, just walking down to the river,
Yeah.
taking a trip. I took a high-speed train, a
Oh,
trip to Porto,
okay.
yeah, just
That's going to
sense
be
of
where
adventure, just doing things I hadn't done before in life.
yeah, that's actually where I want to land is in Porto. So, how did you like Porto?
I did enjoy it. It was a very quick stay. It was just really an overnight stay. Went up there
Okay.
for early in the morning, got there around lunchtime and did a couple things that
Yeah.
evening. And the next day we did some other touring and things like that.
Okay.
And then we got back on the train. So I really wasn't there long enough to really get the gist of the city and the
Right.
community.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that adventure of
Yeah.
taking a high-speed train to Porto. Never been on a train before.
How far are you from the water where you're at now?
I am just about probably maybe 3 miles, 3 or 4 miles from the
Okay,
water.
nice.
Not
Okay.
far at all.
Yeah.
Yesterday I walked down to the river
Okay.
and yeah, and walked back.
Getting that
It
exercise
was
in,
not
huh?
very far.
Yeah. Are you in a hilly area of Lisbon?
I am in an area that is not as severe, not as hilly as some. There
Okay.
are some hills here and inclines where I'm at,
Yeah.
but nothing like some of the other, Portugal sits on seven hills, or
Right.
I should say Lisbon is built on seven hills.
Right.
And so the area that I'm in is not that hilly, which is nice. It's very walkable,
Okay.
which is important. So the hills that I do take, I can manage those.
And you're close to the metro?
Very close to the metro, very close to the bus line.
Nice.
So
Okay. And
that's,
that's
yeah,
important.
that's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah. So have you gone down and just sat at one of the cafes and just people watch yet?
No, I haven't really done that. I've sat at the river and watched folks, but not at the cafe,
Yeah.
but at the river. And so that was a really relaxing experience to go down to
Mm,
the river and just chill.
yeah.
Something about being near water that's
Yep.
so calming and so relaxing, and that gives you an opportunity to do your own self-reflection.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm by the water, it's like, wow, how amazing.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was one of the reasons why I was so excited about Portugal is because being from California, we're surrounded by water and, going to the bay, or even I don't really get to the ocean too much because a little further out. But just being able to get to, some water within, 10, 15 minutes. It's a drive, but 10, 15 minute drive. I was like, I need to be in a place where it's, familiar, but not familiar. You know what I'm saying? But someplace near water, someplace that has amazing weather. So yeah, that's why Portugal was like, yeah, that sounds like that's my stomp. That's gonna be my new stomping grounds.
And I would say too, in Portugal, the people here, the Portuguese people are they're very kind.
Hmm.
And so if they see that you're struggling, if you need some help,
Yeah,
they'll respond
yeah,
and help you out if you're trying to figure out how to use the little machine to get your card to
right.
take the metro. They'll kind of guide you through that process.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they are
I
very
think you'll
kind.
experience that once when you get here, the
Mhm.
kindness that's here within this country.
Yeah, that's very true. So, what does liberation look and feel like now in this sense of in this season of your new life and in your new country?
It's awesome and amazing. I am beginning to feel more at ease. I'm beginning to feel
Your shoulders are
more
going
like
down.
I'm creating a home for myself here,
Hmm.
and it's there's still the thoughts of things that are happening back home in America. But I'm really trying to focus on what's happening here because there's still a lot that I have to do since
Right.
I've been here for just a short period of time. I had mentioned to someone before that I'm not really here on vacation,
Mm.
although the first couple of months I really did do some touring and sightseeing and things like that. But now I've got to buckle down and do more of that work that needs to be done so I can stay here. I still have my immigration appointment that's
Mm.
scheduled later this year.
Mhm.
And then there's certain requirements that I still have to do in order to take information to that appointment. So
Right.
I'm busy doing those kinds of things as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'll have to circle back with you after you have your immigration appointment and pick your brain on how that was and what I need to
Absolutely.
look forward to. So let me ask you this. What do you want other women 16 over to know about making a radical change when the world says it's too late?
I would say don't listen to the world. You have to listen to yourself and listen to your spirit.
Hmm.
And I would say even if your self is telling you no, then listen to yourself. But maybe the no is not yet. No, but not yet.
Yeah.
But I would say don't completely discount doing something great and wonderful for yourself in your life. It's
Mm.
time for women 60 plus to take care of themselves and do things for them because we've spent so many years
Hmm.
doing for others as wives and partners and mothers and
Hmm.
aunts and grandparents
Right.
that it really is time to do things for yourself. And you'll find your supporters. There will be people in your life that will encourage you.
Hmm.
Go for it, do it. I'm excited for you. And some
Exactly.
people might be a little leery about what you're thinking about doing, but you have to, shut them down
Mm.
and move forward. And sometimes you may have to stop listening to them, stop hanging with them,
Right.
and
Right.
stay with the folks that are really supporting you to do it is whatever you're trying to do. Stay with your supporters. Listen to those people, your cheerleaders.
Your cheerleaders, right. That's why I think it's so important also for something, especially as big as moving to another country, is of course being um, with like-minded individuals, but getting in like you did, getting in groups, even if they're online groups, and also engaging, not just getting on and leering about, but engaging with them so you can get to know these people, so you can have or start to build a community of people that have already done what you're trying to do, and whether that's moving abroad or whatever, that next stage is for you, having that community of people that
Mhm.
know what you're going through and can help you get through it. So I think that's important to make sure that you are engaging on some level and building that community on some level. So it won't be as difficult. Why, like I said, why create recreate the wheel if someone else or a group of people have already done it, and it's important. It's really important. So
And I
was
would also
Mhm.
say for people, start your community before you even leave.
Right,
If
right.
you're going to move abroad, if that's what you decide to do,
Hmm.
there are so many groups that you can
Yeah,
connect with that are doing the same thing that you are trying to do. They haven't
right.
left yet, but they're planning on it.
Hmm.
Start building that community now so that when you do get wherever you're going, it'll be a much more softer landing for you at that point. And you'll
Definitely.
feel like you know those folks, even though you may not have physically touched them before.
Right,
You've seen them on video, you've talked with them on the phone,
right,
those types of things. So start that community before you leave.
right. Exactly. I agree 100%. So was there any grief in letting go?
Um, no,
Okay, good for
no.
you. Good.
Because the people that were most important to me, my children, all agreed and was all excited for me to go to
Nice.
leave. And
Good.
so there was no grief in that because I had to test the waters with them. A couple of them have already lived abroad and one had not.
Hmm.
And that one, I was like, well, I'm thinking about moving to Portugal. What are your thoughts? And they were, oh, I don't know, I'm going to miss you. But I gave them like several months advance notice that that's what mom was thinking about. And so
Right.
then they finally got it in their spirit. Okay, my mom's going to do this.
Hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
like, I want you to be happy, mom.
Yeah.
And I support you. So there was no grief in terms of me leaving. There was just excitement
Good.
about this new wonderful change that I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's the conversations I'm slowly having with I have two, with my two kids. Well,
Mhm.
three. I have my bonus daughter, so three. But yeah, that's the conversation slowly that I'm having with them. And I think for them, at least two out of the three, they're like, we'll believe it when she starts actually doing some paperwork. I'm like, well, here's the paperwork. So, and plus their whole thing is also, you gonna leave dad? Because my husband's gonna stay behind and come when he can. But yeah, you're gonna leave dad? I'm like, well, I would love for your dad to join me, but he has obligations here and I understand. So that's one thing I am thankful for, that he is, open and encouraging for me to do this. So like he said, you've always supported me in everything I've done. So me telling you I wouldn't, me telling you not to go or trying to convince you not to go, he said that wouldn't be fair. And so he's very supportive. So I'm thankful for that. How has your definition of freedom evolved in your 60s?
Ooh, that's a great question. How has my definition of freedom evolved in my 60s?
Hmm.
Um, I would say in my 60s, now I can think I can be focused on me.
Okay.
I'm free to take care of Bobby. I'm free to do for Bobby. I don't have to worry about other people because they're all self-sufficient, self-reliant. I raised them right. My late husband and I both worked hard to raise our kids the way they should be.
Hmm.
And I don't worry about them. They can take care of themselves. And
Hmm.
now it's time for me to have my freedom.
Yes.
And so that's my definition is me, taking care of me, doing for me,
Hmm.
not worrying about other people,
Yeah.
not allowing anyone to uh, hold me back from doing this new thing that I'm doing.
Hmm.
There were some people from some friends and other family members who were quite surprised that I was leaving.
Hmm.
And they were like, I can't believe you're leaving me, that kind of stuff. I'm like, you know, it's all good. We'll stay communicating with one another. There's the phone, there's video, it's all going to be good. So
Right.
that's my freedom. It's just taking care of me and not having those those pressures of having to worry about other people.
Right. Uh, Amen to that. Other, I already told my husband, I said, because we have two dogs, we had a cat. And even though my kids are, adults and out on their own, I said, and I'm an animal person, but I said, the cat passed away. I said, no more. And now my other dog, who's 14, and the youngest one, who's 8 or 9, I said, after those two, I don't want to be responsible for anything else but me. So, because I mean, having and I know it's not the same as having kids, but having two dogs is like almost having two kids. So, yeah, I hear you. I'm ready to just say, okay, it's me. It's all me now. So good for you, love. Good for you. So, what did making this big change teach you about resilience, especially the kind we don't talk about as women over, I'll say 50 plus, 60?
I would say that this making this change has taught me that I am a resilient person. I am a strong woman. And so I didn't allow my fears to prevent me from moving. I did have a dear sweet friend who I mentioned to them almost a little over a year ago. I said to them, I said, I don't know if I can do this.
Mm,
And that was the one time I did have some doubt in this whole process.
mm,
I said, and this is before I started the process actually with
mm,
the relocating service. I said, I don't know if I can do this.
mm,
And she's like, oh, yes, you can. You can do this. And she prayed for me over the phone
mm.
and just really poured her spirit into mine
Okay.
and made me realize, yes, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I would say just I realize I am resilient and I can do these things. And sometimes you do have a little bit of fear, but you have
Of
to
course.
squelch it. You have to squelch it.
Yeah,
And you have to have people in your life that are encouraging you
definitely.
and telling
Definitely.
you, yes, you can get that done. Yes, you can.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100% on that because literally that can be a make or break, meaning someone who is encouraging you to tell you like you can do this, you can move forward and keep encouraging you can be, like I said, the difference between, yes, I'm going to do this, and like we talked about, in all my fear, and I have this person telling me I can. I have this person as my cheerleader telling me I can, then that really will, to me, send you over that finish line. Whereas if you have people putting doubts in the back of your head or saying, well, are you sure? Do you have a plan A, B, C, and D? You could start thinking, well, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not prepared enough. And then you don't make that move because you're doubting yourself. And so I think, yeah, having that person that really encourages you and says, yes, you can, and genuinely, because sometimes you have people encouraging you, but in the background, this person's not really behind me. This person's really not, you know, doesn't have my best interest at heart. So I think it has to also needs to be a genuine, it needs to be they genuinely believe in you. So
That was one of the reasons why I purposely did not share with everybody that I was planning on leaving and moving to Portugal.
yeah.
I had to tell my children, obviously,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was very selective about that because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
if I don't move, like if they reject me,
Yeah.
I did everything I was supposed to do, but
Yeah,
I
you
had
never
never
know.
done this before, so I didn't know who they would accept and who they would reject to
Mm-hmm.
get the visa.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure that I get my visa before I start disclosing and sharing this information with people
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm really going to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't want people, uh, checking in every other week or every 2 weeks saying, how's the process going? What's going
Right.
on with it now? I didn't
Right.
need
You
that
got,
extra.
yeah, you're nervous
I
enough
didn't need
on
that
them.
stress.
Right.
I didn't need that stress. So I wanted to make sure it was going to happen. And when I found out that, yes, I got approved, then that's when I told the bulk of the folks that I was leaving.
Okay. Good for you. So, what have you stopped apologizing for in this season of your life, if anything?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. Um, I don't, that's a great question. Let me think about that for just a second here. I don't feel like I really have apologized for much. I've tried to be intentional about my life
Okay.
and the things that I do. And I know I'm 100% human, and as 100% human, we will all make mistakes. And
Yeah.
we can look back and say, oh, I could have did this differently, or I could have done something better, or, maybe I shouldn't have said that or did this or went down this path or whatever. But I think in the end, it all works out, and it helps build character of that particular person. It helps you grow as a human being. It helps you not only better yourself, but it helps you better others.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really uh, apologetic for my life. My life is what it is.
Hmm.
And so you take the good with the bad and you learn from the bad.
Okay.
It's designed, I hope, in people's lives to make you better. Because we're all going to make a mistake or
Hmm.
take a misstep or go down a wrong path. But the thing is can you figure that out before there's destruction
Right.
and pull yourself back on the right path and move forward? And when you're on the right path, who are you bringing with you along that path that's on the right path?
Okay.
Who are you sharing this information with?
Mm.
So
Okay.
that's what I would say.
Sounds good to me. And my last question for you. What does it mean to be unapologetically 60 plus for you?
It means um, it means to feel good about who I am. It means to be willing to take on my new challenges that I have.
Hmm.
And in fact, what I did today is I've got so many things that I have going on in my mind. And said earlier in this podcast that I know I'm not on vacation. I did, spend the first few weeks sightseeing and touring and all of that. But I really know that there's a purpose for me being here in Lisbon, Portugal. And that purpose is going to be revealed at some point. So what I did this afternoon is I went and pulled out my old paper vision book
Hmm.
and said, okay, I need to start writing down some things in my vision book that I need to accomplish.
Okay.
And so that's what I would say to that.
All right. Well, Bobby, thank you so much for joining me. Your story is amazing. It's very inspiring. So I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about it and hopefully inspiring other women to, it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter if you're scared, just go ahead and do it. And
That's
then
right.
who knows, you might be living your best life if you take that, listen to your spirit and take that leap of faith.
Absolutely. And Angela, thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. All right, you guys, thank you again for joining us. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.